Why can't I edit a Program Files file on Windows 7? I'm having trouble editing this file on Windows 7. If I edit it in Cygwin, 6, or TextPad, those two programs see the changes, so it's getting written to disk somewhere. But if I type the file in a DOS CMD shell, it looks like the file hasn't been changed at all. One thing I noticed is that in the CMD shell, the owner is administrators, but in Cygwin's bash shell, the owner is Dan. How can this be? It's like there are two different files with the same name in the same directory.
Due to security features introduced with Windows Vista, UAC, any non-administrator program that tries to write to protected locations such as program files will get their writes caught and redirected to an alternative, user-friendly location. The program that made the file will be able to see the file, but most other programs will not. Wikipedia states, and I've highlighted the relevant section. Applications written with the assumption that the user will be running with administrator privileges experience problems in earlier versions of Windows when run from limited user accounts, often because they attempted to write to machine-wide or system directories, such as program files, or registry keys, notably HKLM. UAC attempts to alleviate this using file and registry virtualization, which redirects writes, and subsequent reads, to a per-user location within the user's profile. For example, if an application attempts to write to C:\program whitespace files \appname\settings.ini and the user doesn't have permissions to write to that directory, the write will get redirected to C:\users\username\appdata\local\virtual store\program whitespace files \appname\settings.ini. So in theory your changed file is actually being written to C:\users\username\appdata\local\virtual store\program files x86 \kmake 2.8.7 /share kmake 2.8 /modules. The only way around this restriction is to completely disable UAC, which is not recommended for security reasons. The best solution is that should actually have kmake in your path and be using a non-protected location such as somewhere inside your user profile.
The Program Files folder is protected by administrator rights. In Windows XP and earlier, most people ran as administrator all of the time. Many programs assumed this was the case and did all their work in the Program Files folder. When Windows Vista was released, they stopped this practice, forcing applications to instead use C:\users%sign username%sign \appdata. This broke a lot of older applications. To allow older application to continue using administrator-only folders, Windows created a virtual store to keep altered files in. Take a look in C:\users%sign username%sign \appdata\local\virtual store. You'll find your files there. You can also use Explorer by opening the folder and pressing the Compatibility Files button at the top of the window.
I had a similar problem. Shortly after moving to Windows 7, from XP, I was trying to unzip a file inside C:\program files and it kept giving me an access denied error. After much wrestling I found that I had to take ownership of the entire folder before I could change the permissions to allow the administrators group full access, which, in my opinion, it should rightly have. In order to take ownership of a folder, right-click on the folder and go to Properties, then click on the Security tab, then click Advanced, then the Owner tab, and click Edit. Check Replace Owner on subcontainers and objects, then select the new owner, example, the Administrators group, then say OK.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.